Welcome to G3, Games, Gadgets, and Guests, a video podcast from 702 Communications. I'm your host, Brian Crowley. If you're watching, you can see that obviously we are not on the normal set. We are actually at Replay Games, and we're really excited to be here. We're going to do a series of episodes here at Replay, and today we've got a guest episode, but since I'm at Replay, I'm kind of the guest of Cassidy Schnase,
Yes.
who is a return guest on the show. He was actually way back at the very beginning before the video even started on here, and at that point we were talking to him as CJ at Wicked Soul Studio, and obviously we've moved on from there. But so what happened with Wicked Souls?
So we moved Wicked Soul into more of a administrative helping position where we're still doing a lot of work with community on that. We got the Fargo Game Makers meetup that we're still regularly involved in, and then Pod's Game Design teaches kids game development that we're still involved with as well.
Cool.
But it was one of those things where, you know, chasing my passion and needing to pay bills. So
Hey. We all come to that point at some point. And you, it seems like here you found something that's in that same vein anyway, right? You stayed with video games and you found something else you love that now you're turning into something that can maybe also pay the bills. So let's talk about Replay Games. You got a really cool shop here, but what is Replay Games?
Yeah, so Replay Games came about is, you know, I just miss those couch gaming days. People that play games today don't understand what couch gaming is. They play it all online, they don't see their friends, and they're shouting at somebody that they don't even know sometimes. So, so like I like to joke with people that it's nice to be able to reach over and punch your friend on the shoulder kind of thing. And so Replay Games is, for personal passion, is obviously video games. And I'd love to be able to turn it into a revenue stream to pursue more development later down the road, or at the very minimal be able to funnel it into helping the Fargo Game Makers community, or what else we can do game development wise too, or just supporting gaming in general. And so it's a community-based store that we wanted to, you know, the community is supporting this store. It's not my store, it's our store. You know, we're giving access to games that you may have never heard of, never played, and played in a high resolution that you wouldn't be able to get at home without a nice wallet to support the equipment. So, so yeah, we're just, you know, anything that involves gaming, we want to be a part of it. So
cool.
Yeah.
This is a community based store is what you talked about, and we've alluded to the fact that there are video games here and there are couch games here.
A few video games, You
do have a few video games.
Yes.
As soon as you walk in the door, you can see that there's a few video games here. But so talk to us, when you talk about the video games you have, I mean, what video games are we talking about?
So we have every console from the PS4 all the way to the Atari 2600 currently, and that gives us a healthy library of about 3,700 games now. Wow. Even though my sign says 3,600 because we're getting more games. So. And so with that we buy, sell, trade, rent, play. Anything that I have for sale will be up front in the store on the shelves, and then out in the arcade we have the newer systems in the front and the older systems in the back. And then our east wall is all 4-player walls, 4-player systems. So, and so it's really fun because then we're, like I was mentioning, we can offer access to these games in a way that you probably wouldn't get at home, because our GameCube is being fed HDMI into the TV. And if you had a GameCube, you know that they didn't have that ability back then.
Right.
So the component cables for that are $200 on eBay, which is...
See, you were saying this to me earlier before we started the shoot, and this is crazy to me, right? Because I think now I'm going to go back home and I'm going to dig up all of my old consoles and see if I have these cables that I should be selling, either to you. No, I mean, but it's crazy, you know, just to think that all of these games that we have in our closets or whatever are rare and are valuable, but what might be the most valuable thing is the cable that connects it to the TV.
So Nintendo, it was a proprietary plug that only Nintendo made component cables for. Third party never picked it up, and they're still struggling to make cables for it because they don't know how to do it for some reason. But thanks to 3D printing technology, a guy's made his own plug that will convert it to HDMI for $100, so you get it at a steep discount there. So
and the old consoles live on.
Exactly, and so then going further older with Super Nintendo and regular Nintendo and all that, we have XRGB Framemeisters, which is a professional upscaler, and one unit with cables runs about $500.
Wow!
And so we have 7 of them here.
But you get to play all the old cool Nintendo games.
Yes.
Now. on your through HDMI.
Through HDMI. So we were able to create a nice uniform look with the TVs are all the same style. We do have a fat TV still, just because
I saw that back there.
Yeah. You need it for duck hunt. Light guns require that cathode ray from the CRT.
Sure.
So and so that's the only reason why we have a fat TV still, is we can get that hooked up for a duck hunt fan. So
duck hunt. I haven't played duck hunt for 20 years. I bet maybe 30.
Yeah, it's approaching 30 years old now.
Oh, cool. So you've got PlayStation 4s all the way back to Atari. What's most popular?
It's funny because our target market is actually that younger family where mom and dad probably gamed a little bit growing up and the kids are just getting into it.
Sure.
So it's kind of a fun common ground for them to come and enjoy it here. But then mom and dad go to play Atari or regular Nintendo and the kids are playing Fortnite. So
so they get in intending to have family time and then they all split out to their own consoles.
But they're able to have fun and be in that, and it's an affordable price too.
Okay, cool. So what's your favorite game here?
That's a hard question. It's more like I have.
When you have 3,700.
Exactly.
Right?
I have 10 games that I probably enjoy the most. Right. So Super Metroid is one of my all-time favorite games for the Super Nintendo. Final Fantasy VII is a good one for JRPGs, and actually my favorite JRPG is for the Sega Genesis called Phantasy Star 4.
Never played it.
Yep. And so it was kind of funny because Phantasy Star is a franchise that was intended to compete with Final Fantasy.
Okay.
And so it's actually a long story short. The third Phantasy Star game is kind of a black sheep of the series. And so Phantasy Star 4 literally takes place over top that story, just to kind of remove it from the mythology of that game series. So,
really? Interesting.
So,
talk to me about your hours. Talk to me about your rates.
Yeah.
I mean,
so Tuesday through Thursday.
And where can people find you? Let's talk about that.
So Tuesday through Thursday, we are open 2 to 10 p.m. Friday, Saturday, we stay late till midnight and open early on Saturday at noon. And then Tuesday through Thursday is $3 an hour. Friday, Saturday, $4 an hour, which is really fascinating because when we were doing our research, we found that the average gamer spends about $8 an hour for his entertainment. And that's assuming brand new title, and the average game takes about 14 hours to complete.
Okay.
So extrapolating from that, it's like, oh wow, they're spending $8 an hour. So how can we offer what we have at a discount for them?
Right on.
Try it before you buy it, and like with the Fortnite, you can play. We have them linked together, so you can play with friends next to each other here, versus having to have multiple systems at home to do so.
Sure.
So that's where families really enjoy it too, because then the brothers and sisters can play together in a way that they couldn't at home.
And you don't have to have 4 Xboxes.
Exactly. So we're located downtown next to JL Beers on 5th Street and 1st Avenue North. It's called the Exchange Building that the Kilborn Group renovated. And so we're down in the basement here, which is also a fun little slug because we joke that, why play in your parents' basement when you can play in ours? And so like I said, we're next door to JL Beers, and it's also been fortunate because we're purposely not having a liquor license or anything like that to attach our site with alcohol. So if people really want to have their Beerio card or whatever, they can go next door or somewhere else downtown and then come here.
Have a cocktail, come back and play some more.
Exactly.
I think that makes good sense too.
Yeah.
So you talked, and we've been talking just a little bit more than we usually talk in a guest segment, but I'm really interested in the whole space here.
Yeah.
And so people can come in and just play by the hour, but you also have some events.
Yep. So every week we're doing challenges, and then on that Saturday we also do a tournament. And so this week it's Nintendo 64 is the theme that we're doing. And so we're doing GoldenEye for our tournament on Saturday.
GoldenEye tournament this Saturday.
Team deathmatch.
Now we're not going to get this podcast out before that happens. So if everybody's hearing this, you might have to run a GoldenEye tournament again.
Exactly. And then biggest question is people want Super Smash Brothers, stuff like that.
Sure.
So every Saturday we try to run a tournament, and that's provided that we get at least 3 people signed up. We do have cash pool prize, so half the cost of entry goes into the cash pool, the other half covers the venue. And then in conjunction with that, with people that aren't so interested in the hardcore player versus player aspect, we do skill challenges or beat the owner challenges. And so each week I'll think of something where it's like, you know what, it'd be really cool to see people go all the way in NFL Blitz. So what we mean by that is for going all the way, you need to get a touchdown off of a kick return. And NFL Blitz is a great comical, all penalties allowed goofiness game. If you haven't played that, I definitely recommend it.
I'm trying to remember. I'm seeing your graphic here, and it's ringing a bell, but if I played it, it's been a long time. So we might have to cue that up later.
I'll definitely point out when we're walking around. So, and then so you get entered into the drawing for $10 store credit. We do these every week for beating that first challenge. And then the second challenge that's attached to that is this week, it's with that NFL Blitz, you got to beat the computer opponent at the default settings by X amount of points. And so that X is how we're going to determine the high score for the week. So if you beat the computer by 20 points, and that's the best that somebody's beating the computer by, that's $20 cash in your pocket. So
okay, all right, very cool. So some tournaments. It looks like we've got one up on the board here too.
Yep.
Beat you a Tetris attack.
Yeah, so that was last week's score where I set the score for 3,070 points, and I felt a little bad because it was a high bar to set because Tetris Attack is one of my favorite games.
A little
Just
bad.
a little bit. So anyways, it was nice because we do have a couple of people that play a lot of Tetris Attack, so I knew that this score would be beatable. And actually, the guy that won the $20 cash doubled my score. So
really.
So I didn't feel bad because I knew he was going to.
You set a good bar. It was beat, and you're happy to hand it out at that point. Right on.
And then 2 weeks ago, when we first started doing this, we did 1942 for the regular Nintendo, and we both had people win the $10 store credit and the $20 cash. So
right on.
Yeah.
And people can find out more about you on your website, Facebook page, both?
Everything. So we do a lot of social media. So Facebook's our most prominent for big events and stuff like that, as well as our website is www.replaygames.us.
Okay,
so
excellent.
Yeah.
Well, like I say, I'm really impressed with the space you have here, and I'm glad to hear that your membership is churning here, and you got more stuff coming up. So, like I say, we like the space enough, and we like Cassidy enough that we're going to do a couple segments here. So, if you're interested in old school gaming, or if you're interested in new school gaming, but you'd like to do it in a couch atmosphere like he was talking about, come on down and check out Replay Games.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the first segment that we're doing here at Replay Games. Really cool, like I say. Come on down, check it out. If you like this podcast, well, like us. Tell your friends, subscribe, all of those things. And check back for more episodes here, like I say, at Replay Games. So until next time, I'm Brian Cromit. This is G3. Game on.